Hello, Udans. Welcome back. It's been a long time that we have not seen each other online. Today, I'll be sharing with you a very interesting life in the name of Marx, the life and works of Marx. Don't you know that Marx is, a very central figure in the 18th, 19th century? And before we continue, I'd like you to be our partner and be a Udan and be the force be with you as we continue on our journey in studying philosophy and anything about life. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell button so that you will be updated every time I will post new presentations. So why Yami Yuda? Because I want you to experience, the way to become the master of the universe through studying philosophy, through studying about theories about the greatest men of our times. So shall we start? Don't you know that the devotion of Marx, being so dedicated in radical political activity, journalism, theoretical studies in history, and political economy. So Marx, in these four areas, Marx is so focused. He was even become, you know, having troubles with these areas. He was even evicted from one place to the other because of his devotion in these studies in this field. His political views is so different from the rest. So these are his focus in life. His full name is Karl Heinrich Marx. And, Marx was born in the city of Trier along the river Moselle on May 5, 1818. So imagine that. So it's very, very easy to remember. No? It will be a quiz. So when was the time Marx was born? So you just answer 1818. So very easy to remember. So this time is, one of the greatest time in the European history. And when it comes, Marx, born along this area in Trier between Belgium, France, and in the modern time of Germany. So he was really at the heart of Europe. And Marx came from the ancestors of rabbis. And his father, as a Jew, and as a lawyer with liberal political views, you know what to expect. Later converted to Christianity from Judaism and was baptized with the rest of his family in 1824. So, Mark was into Christianity, from Judaism to Christianity. This will tell us something with a liberal father. So Marx really was into Christian life, the belief and all of these things. When he walked up to the world, so with a liberal father, of course, and when he go to school, Marx really excelled in literary subjects. He's really good in writing. In 1835, he entered the University of Bonn to study law. In 1836, he transferred to Berlin and became a member of what we call the Young Hegelian Doctor Club, a Bohemian group. And then in this group, he met the leading figure of that group, the theologian Bruno Bauer, really influenced the way he thinks. And the views of the Doctor Club turned increasingly radical, and to some extent, it would seem under Marx's influence in the late 1830s. So he joined this group and he influenced the group. You see how he makes things. He's really a catalyst of change. Marx, once you put Marx in, something could change. So the figure itself, the face itself, but not just the face, the way he thinks, the way he talks, and all of these things. Now he became also an editor of a newspaper. We call the newspaper Rheinische Zeitung, the Rheinische Zeitung, who publishes something radical during his time. He became the editor of this newspaper. And he also other writing works, which is so famous, is the Communist Manifesto. Marx wrote this one with Hegel, as well as the Das Kapital. Later we'll discuss what is the Das Kapital. And these are the two famous writings of Marx. But there are other things which are so famous. But when it comes to the landmark, the writings that really has a has a point in history. These are the two things. And then Marx, wrote a doctoral dissertation, and his doctoral dissertation was on the difference between the philosophies of Democritus and Epicurus, analyzed in a in a Hegelian way. By the way, I have a presentation of Epicurus. You can click at the bottom below. I will in the comment section. I posted a link if you are interested. And then the next one is his other writings is the German ideology, again with angels, and the poverty of philosophy. So Marx is really a writer. See, he loves writing, and he loves to share his ideas on his writings. And his married life, after 6 years of engagement with Jenny von Westphalen, he married her on June of 1843. So you see, Marx is, by the way, Jenny was a little older, Marx, and this girl really fall in love with Marx, and they were married, and that marriage has a very long honeymoon, accordingly, and with that long honeymoon, he was able to work on two pieces of of writings that he wrote, the critique of Hegel's philosophy of right, and essay on the Jewish question. So, many of us really have just enjoyed the honeymoon, but Marx, aside from enjoying a married life, he enjoyed also, writing. In fact, he finished these two good literatures. And there are issues and conflicts during his time. Remember, he was the editor of Renaissance Zeitung. And this newspaper, because this is quite radical and questioning the government of Prussia, he was banned because of this. And on March 1843, Marx was the publication stopped. And this makes Marx decide that this event made him to decide that, hey, I really have to go away from this place. This is not anymore healthy for for my devotion, for my journalism devotion, for my radical views, for my writing. So all of these things make him decide to go somewhere. Sometimes we go away from the place, sometimes the place that we love, not because that we got bored, but because the place is it's getting hot, it's getting uneasy for us. So this time, his way of thinking, his writings, his activities, made him to be banned in that place. So not only his newspaper, not only the publication, but of course he as the editor. So he was banned, and then Marx from Prussia to France in October 1843, and later on he was expelled from France and he moved to Brussels. Although they are just neighboring country, but transferred from one place to another, and then he returned to Germany in 1848, then to Paris, then to France again, and then in August 1849 to London. So imagine that's around 6 years from Prussia to London. But for in the past 6 years of his life, from 1843 now to 1849, for that 6 years in his life, he transferred from one place to the other. Imagine that, from Prussia to France, and then France to Belgium, to Germany, back to France. And imagine five times he transferred from one place to the other. But it seems that the bad luck is with him. Not until he arrived in London, and then London embraced him. And in fact, he died in London. Um, because of his devotion in life, he was able to be evicted from one place to the other. You know, sometimes if we are so in love with something, we really have to go with it, even if the people around is so uncomfortable. If it takes us to go somewhere, then we really have to, obey whatsoever. And his famous book again, the Das Capital, the Capital, who have influenced the the, the thinkers in economics and other social sciences fields, and even influenced the way we think of capital, uh, was published. And he wrote 3 volumes, but because of his poor health and he wasn't able to publish all 3 volumes. During his lifetime, when he was alive, he published the first volume, but the second and the third volume was edited and published by angels. You know, sometimes I believe now that if you want to be successful in life, you must have a very close friend. It's like Steve Jobs to Steve Wozniak, and you must have a partner in life. So in this case, Marx is, aside from his wife, he has a partner, and in this case, we have angels. So Marx, angels together. Even after death, angels is so loyal with him. And then in his last 10 years of life, Marx is living a very unhealthy life. He suffered so many sicknesses. And his last 10 years was a very, very poor health. And what a sad end of the great man. So instead of enjoying so much in life, he really suffered. He persecuted people. Uh, he was labeled not as a not as a hero, but sometimes a contrabida during his time. But that's the life of a great man. He experienced so much sorrows in life. Maybe later in our next presentation, we'll go into about his family, what his family all about, and learn something about his family. And he died on March 14, 1883. It's a sad story, but life really ends. But if if he lives a little longer, 10 to 20 years, if he died at 80 years old or close to 90, maybe he have written so many things for us to to enjoy today. And but that's the sad story. He died that young, not even in the 70s. So, but when it comes to the life expectancy during those times, I guess Marx got his part. And yeah, he was buried, and later on got a modest uh, area, part in the Highgate Cemetery of London. And look at that, people are loves him so much, and even giving him the flowers, even up to this time. Still, it's a place of pilgrimage for those people who really likes the ideas of Marx. And even I myself, someday if I can go to London, I will try to pass by and have a selfie on in this area. Next time, I would like to present the Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and the Stoic philosopher. So I will be back with Marx, but next presentation, I am excited to present about this guy, the Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and the Stoic philosopher. So if you enjoyed our video, please like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell button. And in our next video, you will be notified. So don't forget to click the bell button and subscribe to support our channel, to inspire us, to continue uh, publishing, continue on presenting some things about philosophy, about life, about theories, about the great men in history. And thank you and have a good day. I hope you will enjoy and have fun. This is Yami Yuda, and bye-bye.